Welcome back, folks, once again here. My name is Billy Adams. We are here at the Wiregrass Sports Ranch out in Wesley Chapel, brought to you by the U.S. Amateur Basketball Association. This is the Florida Athletics Network, and we are live and in person once again for game number 3 here in the Conrad P. Foss Memorial Tournament, folks. Kicking off once again with our first girls game now here in game number 3 as we have the Rising Stars and the Florida Blaze. Again, the Rising Stars in the pink and black and the Florida Blaze, and you guessed it, folks, the orange/Blazes type jerseys. Over on the Rising Stars side, they are coached by Tyrell Wilson. And our starting lineup today is number 9 in Addison Shale, number 13 in Tamari Wilson, number 20 in Zion Stevens, number 21 in Bentley Schmitzer, and number 31 in Micaiah Thomas. Looking over at that Florida Blaze side, they are coached by Michael McFall, and our starting lineup is as follows. In number 2, Ariane Goggins, number 7, Amaya Curtis, number 10, Dario Grant, number 5 in Layla Williams, and number 15 in Madison Redmond. 2 14-minute periods, and we are already 1 minute in as somebody is looking to score. Bentley Schmitzer taking it down the floor. And now working together once again, trying to get in the paint. A fight for the basket and the ball. And I believe Dario Grant might have gotten a piece. Can't miss Dario Grant. She is about 3 inches taller than every single player out there, so you know she is going to be a problem. 12:48 remains here in this first half. And folks, if you've missed it, we've had quite the action so far. Game number 1 against Bloomington and Wellington ended in what was a 14-2 run for the Bloomington Bulls after Wellington started out with a 5-point lead in the first 8 minutes of play. And then this most recent contest, we had the Southwest Florida Hoops going off against the Georgia Vipers. It was an early on a physical contest. The Georgia Vipers actually started out with the lead. They had a 2-point lead in the first 6 minutes, but went on an 8-minute scoring drought. And in turn, Southwest Florida, thanks to number 24 in Tamarian Howard, he was able to have a 12-0 run by himself, put them up by 18, and ultimately they won 73-49 in game number 2 of what seems to be many games in today's affairs. Now, we have game number 3, and it's a 2-0 lead so far coming from the visitors of the Rising Stars. They'll have a chance to extend here. A long 3 coming, and it's off the glass there from Zion Stevens. Grant coming back with the board. She'll take it up herself. Gonna need some kind of outlet. Everybody working on the outside here. Up top we go. Williams lost it. Coming back the other way. It's gonna be Wilson going up and taking the foul is Wilson. She'll go to the line for 2. It'll be Wilson to the line, and it looks like number 15 in Madison Redmond. She'll get the foul, and it'll be the first for the Florida Blaze. 11:45 remains here in half number 1. A 2-0 lead has a chance now to be 3 on this second free throw attempt. Again, that'll be number 13 in Tamari Wilson, one of our starters in today's contest with this team led by head coach Tyrell Wilson. Second opportunity comes off the back iron. It's a rebound by Grant. Blaze coming back the other way, wasting no time. That shot off the mark. It was Madison Richard. Working up top here is Layla Williams. She'll get it to Grant. Grant goes up and uses that height advantage. And folks, that could be the start of what could be domination from Grant if they decide to use her. 2-2 is your contest. The shot just over the rim of Zion Stevens. Here comes Williams. She'll take it herself, working with Grant. Grant double teamed. And it looks like we will have a foul on the floor. I believe Zion Stevens will be called for that one. So 11:06 remains after a foul from Stevens. Grant. Might have been some contact there in the middle. I believe that might have been Addison Shell. So Grant can't get her put back. The Blaze trying to find the opportunity to get the ball back. Somebody's got to get the ball. And let's wait to see what the call was. I believe it just rolled out of bounds, so the Blaze will remain with possession. That long opportunity coming, and Madison Richard cannot capitalize. Back the other way we go. It's Schmitzer. She'll pass it back. The long drain from Stevens, and Zion Stevens puts it in for two. A 4-2 advantage with 10.5 minutes remaining. Here we go. Williams working off the mark. And Zion Stevens with the rebound, and she might have gotten fouled. Looks like they're going to call it on number 2 in Arian Goggins. It'll be her first and team second. So 10:24 remains in half number 1. It's a 4-2 possession after a recent shot from, you saw it there, Zion Stevens. A pass ill-advised. The Blaze trying to get it back. As we have a new number on the floor for the Blaze, folks, if you're listening out there, it's number 4 in Tabitha Anderson. Anderson out on the floor. Corralling in is Micaiah Thomas for the Rising Stars. She'll get the ball. And unfortunately, we'll get the travel call as well. Once again, if you're just joining us, Game 3 of today's action in the tournament brought to you by Florida Sports Coast. Again, if you want to find out more information, go to flsportscoast.com as Zion Stevens trying to make a name for herself once again in the paint, the fight. And finally getting it was the Florida Blaze. Back the other way we go. Going up and going in is Madison Richard. Awesome job there by Richard. And by the way, another new Florida Blaze number checking in. It's number 27 in J.C. Clark. Stevens with the shot as Grant watches it roll out, and it will go back to the Blaze. A lot of clock running here as, again, 2 fouls now coming for what looks to be the Florida Blaze. 0 so far on the All-Stars. We thought Zion Stevens had a foul earlier, and she was not charged with one. So no fouls coming on the Rising Star side, and 2 coming for the Florida Blaze side. And despite that, it is a 4-even contest. A couple shots from Zion Stevens and a couple coming from Madison Richard. Another shot and another basket coming for Richard. We mentioned her name, and she wanted to hear it again, folks. 8:58 remains after the most recent 3-point jam from Madison Richard. And once again, it is a back-and-forth affair. We saw this a lot in game number 1 early in the first half. And even in the first half of game number 2, got to give a lot of credit to these high scores that we saw, folks. Jonathan Torres, my typical co-host, and I, we talked about this in the halftime show of the previous game. This exposure is so huge for a lot of these kids. There's not going to be a ton of people thinking, oh, well, I need to go watch, elementary, middle, or high school basketball. But at the same time, this is the future generation that continues to evolve here in the sport of basketball. It was 10 years ago, we saw 5 kids get picked out of a state to go play college basketball at that point. That's kind of what it was. And then everybody else was either a walk-on or they were lucky to be there. And now you come to tournaments like these, and half these kids are probably going to play college basketball at some point. It's evolved that much. Teams have expanded that much. And as Jonathan Torres mentioned, NIL especially has created such an incentivized option for all of these players to come in, to chase a dream, and even to make a living or make some kind of, earning opportunity in college. So right now, 8:58, as we get a little bit of a hurry-up stance notion from the ref. He says, you know what? I know you're probably in the age range of 8 to 10, but it's time to play basketball. So we are back to it, folks. 8:58 remains here in half number 1. Again, Billy Adams here taking you through today on the Florida Athletics Network. We thank you so much for joining us. If you have been with us or if you are just joining us, be sure to stay tuned all day long. We will have all kinds of games in action for you of different age groups, different kids, and of course different genders, covering men's and women's basketball all day long. It's physicality happening on the other end. A shot going up, and unfortunately it was off the mark for Addison Shell. Zion Stevens, we've called her name a lot and continue to expect us to call it more. Shell with the option to pass, and instead she took the shot. It was number 1 getting that rebound, and Tiana Gordon. So Tiana Gordon checking in for the Blaze, going down on the floor. It looked to be number 27 in J.C. Clark. So we had our first foul on the floor. It looked like It might have been Addison Arnold. So that is the first official foul coming for the Rising Stars. J.C. Clark taking an opportunity to shoot, and unfortunately nowhere inside of the basket, and with 8 minutes remaining, it will go back to the Rising Stars. So another pass out of bounds. You'll see this a lot again. These are younger individuals and younger kids developing and learning. Some have never even played basketball before and are getting the opportunity to do so. And I think it's a great thing. I think this tournament is exactly what younger kids in our generation need, folks. If you aren't supporting this, if you aren't for this, I think you should start getting on board, and I think you should continue. If you are already supporting, I think you should continue looking at this next generation of athletes. A lot of talent, and honestly, a lot of chances for these younger kids to learn, to build, and honestly to be motivated by something. It's so important for somebody who is at that age where their mind isn't even close to being developed. It's important to find a motivation, to learn what that looks like and how to chase it. And I think it's so great that, you know, the Wiregrass Ranch has put on this tournament for a couple of years now, and it's so great for a lot of these kids who probably don't get this opportunity every single day to come and play and to travel and to maybe see what other competition looks like. As that basket's on the mark there for Madison Richard, she has 6 of the 10 points scored by the Florida Blaze. Even at a young age, folks, we're seeing full court pressure. I think they thought a whistle was blown, and now a whistle was blown, and it looks like we'll have a double dribble called there on Anderson. So again, Tabitha Anderson, who checked in at the second half, she'll pass it in, and we will be back in play here with Madison Richard. Working in the middle here, that's number 20, Ava LaBianco. So LaBianco will check in as well. It's her first minutes of action here in this first half of play. She'll take the shot and nearly got it in off the glass. Great shot there by LaBianco. Coming back the other way is Shell, and I believe she will get fouled by J.C. Clark. It'll be the first foul on Clark, third team foul of the morning, and still a 10-4 advantage now for the Florida Blaze. The Blaze working. As I said, Blaze, it's a 10-4 deficit. Getting mixed up already 2 games in, you know, that tends to happen. 6:58 remains here in the first half. J.C. Clark working up top against Shell. Some good movement here coming for the Blaze. Putting it up, and unfortunately not finishing, was Tabitha Anderson. Back the other way we go here with Addison Arnold, another newcomer checking into this ball game. Remember, Arnold, we believe, got that only foul a couple minutes ago. And boy, what an unfortunate moment there. Madison Richard taking a big step, and as soon as she landed, we all knew that was a travel. Nonetheless, still a 10-4 deficit here for the Florida Blaze, and a good control coming from the Rising Stars. 6.5 minutes remaining. Slowing things down just a little bit, coming through the paint. And it looks like we have a jump ball coming as Tamari Wilson took that in. And we will have a new substitution coming in as well for the Rising Stars. Check that, no substitution we were going to, and it was called back. Clock stops with 6:16 remaining. Another new substitution, though, coming for what looks to be the Florida Blaze, number 22, and Addison McFall. Apologies if we don't get these names right off the bat, folks. It's just kind of given when the game starts. You know, you're learning players on the fly really quick, trying to figure out who's who and also make sure that the representation is spot on. But once again, thank you guys so much for listening and also being here with us this entire time. Again, 6 minutes remain here in this contest. And right now, we have not seen a basket in the last 4 minutes of play. Here's a chance, though, for Addison Arnold to put one on the board. So she'll miss that first opportunity, but nonetheless, Addison Arnold has played majority of this first half after checking in a couple minutes into when things began. Had the first foul over for the Rising Stars. And she will put up attempt number 2. It's off the front iron, and Grant will get it. Back the other way we go. Grant gonna pass it in. And for McFall, it's gonna fall out of bounds with 5:50 remaining here in half number 1. Again, a whole nother 14 minutes to be played after this, folks. We'll have a 5-minute break at halftime. followed by another 14-minute period. So again, 28 minutes of women's basketball. A lot to be excited about, and a great game on our hands. Still just a 6-point advantage coming for the Rising Stars. And they might have gotten a foul, although it looked like it was going to be an up and down. And they will call a foul. It's the 5th team foul coming from what looks to be the Florida Blaze. That first attempt here with a 10-4 advantage from the Blaze is Addison Shell. So Shell going to the line for the first time today, 0 for 1 in her first attempt. Still, though, has another opportunity to cut into what appears to be a 6-point advantage. A 5-foul-to-1 ratio coming with the Rising Stars. And they did call that a 3-point try. So she'll actually get another advantage, folks. Thought the foot may have been on the line. And again, not a bit of a questionable call there. It was pretty close to an up and down, but I think she was the benefactor of some late contact coming in from Addison McFall. So it was Addison and Addison on the matchup. 0 for 3 on the attempt at the line, and it will go back to the way of the Florida Blaze, trying to extend their lead from what has been 6 for about the last 6 minutes, it feels like. Ball on the ground. Somebody's got to get it. Here we go, diving for the loose ball. It's going to be Layla Williams. So Layla Williams dove for it, but getting it back and providing a lot of good defensive pressure was Tamari Wilson. So Tamari Wilson gets the ball back for the Rising Stars, and they can try to rise to the occasion and maybe, just maybe, cut into the lead. McFall trying to get a McSteal. Here we go, McFall working. Williams driving, putting it up, unable to finish. Grant with a second try and finally puts it in. How about it? It's Daryl Grant. It only took 2 attempts, but Grant was able to put it back in, and it is now an 8-point advantage under 5 minutes remaining here in half number 1. The Rising Stars have yet to score in the last 8 minutes of play, trying to change that narrative. Maybe another steal, and it goes off the feet of Grant, and it will remain with the Rising Stars. So the clock stops at 4:32. Passing it in is going to be number 20 in Zion Stevens. Again, we've called her name a lot today, folks. Has been a standout in terms of the poise and the pressure she has provided for her Rising Stars team. Trying to figure out what that call was. I believe somebody just stepped out. It might have been Stevens. So Stevens might have stepped out. 12-4 advantage. The clock will run. About 4 minutes remaining here in the first half. Here come the Blaze. Working, driving, unable to finish, and finally putting it up. I believe that was Arian Goggins. So Goggins will put it up. It'll be just the 2nd team foul on the Rising Stars, so kudos to them, playing a lot of clean basketball thus far. Just have not got the opportunities to fall as much as they would like. And now going to the line, folks, for the first time today is Arian Goggins. Couple rebounds today for Goggins. Her first point of the afternoon now, however, extending the lead to 9 with a chance to make it 10, and she will. So shout out Arian Goggins. Second chance opportunity came true, and she was able to get 2 on the board. Here we go with Zion Stevens working outside. McFall using the double team pressure. And McFall, boy, she is tiny, but she is making sure everyone knows she is on the court. McFall creating a turnover opportunity, and with that, she'll sit down, and the offensive pressure of Madison Richard will come in. So Richard has, remember, 6 of the 14 scored. Williams going up, wanted a basket of her own. And a little bit of deja vu. We saw a Williams to Williams rebounding effort there, and it looks like we got Amaya Curtis on the board. Curtis with her first basket and a 16-4 advantage. It's now a 12-point lead for the Florida Blaze. Well, folks, it's not hot outside, but it is beginning to get a little bit warmer in here thanks to the Florida Blaze, a 16-4 advantage. And we have seen a lot of standouts. How about the defensive pressure from Addison McFall? Did not expect much coming out. Kind of looked as if she was just playing a role on the outside wing, but she has come in, provided pressure, and ultimately has created a couple turnovers which have led to points off of turnovers for this Florida Blaze team. A lot of great presence coming from both ends of the floor of these teams, and it's quite impressive for this age group, I gotta say, and especially a big shout out to Madison Richard. Again, 16 points scored, and she has 6 of them. It's great to see even players at this young of an age show a little bit of domination, a little bit of leadership, and a little bit of determination in getting to the basket and not just getting the ball across half court. Great development and a great evolution we have seen in the game. Here comes another steal, working on both ends, and unable to finish was Avery Williams. As the ball rolls out of bounds, and with 3:05 remaining, we will go back into play, and it'll be the Rising Stars' possession. That last possession, Layla Williams that close to getting a points off turnover opportunity, just off the mark though, it was. So now the Rising Stars, here's a chance to capitalize, get a point after a stop, and instead it'll be a double dribble and it'll go back the other way with 2:48 remaining here in half number 1. So a couple substitutions coming in. It looks like sitting down will be Addison Arnold. And I believe checking back into this game once again should be Tamari Wilson. Up the floor we go. Madison Richard leading the way. Here's an outside corner shot. And hello, who's there? Oh wait, it's Layla Williams, folks. Making it where it counts. Williams making up for the open layup she missed earlier in this game, and she gets her team up by 15 points. And how about the answer? Show them who you are, Zion. It's Zion Stevens. 19-7, folks. She answers. A 12-point advantage. Some defensive stops maybe are what needed to get some momentum here. Another 3. And that one just too strong, as I believe it rolled out before we had some contact. A little bit of contact you saw there in the midcourt area in the paint. Amaya Curtis went down, and I believe it was a fall. I want to say from contact with Tamari Wilson. Either that or maybe from Bentley Schmitzer, who did check in moments ago. So Schmitzer back. And she'll be working up top. Another shot. And another basket coming, folks. It's Layla Williams. She shot the last 3 and made 2 of her last 3. 1:50 remaining here in half number 1. Once again, my name is Billy Adams. 1:40 remains here. We are taking you through here on the Florida Sports Network, or Florida Athletics Network, excuse me. Got my co-host Jonathan Torres joining us momentarily as we have a foul on the floor. And it looks like Madison Richard will go back to the line and get a chance to score again. She has 6 of the 21 points scored, and maybe a chance to make it 8. Just 3 team fouls so far on the Rising Stars, so quite the impression here they are making on playing clean basketball.
You know, I think what goes unsaid, by the way, is the impact that the incoming class of last season in the WNBA has had on the sport for young women, because there was just so many stars. There's so many amazing young women coming into the WNBA that it has made it a sport to watch. I mean, it has made the WNBA, you know, something, you know, for everybody to enjoy. You know, those storylines that we've had that started last year are what draw people to a sport. And it's exciting, you know, to see girls at this age be inspired by those that are doing it professionally.
And I think what is even a testament to that, Jonathan, is what I don't think a lot of people pointed it out, but think of the markets too that we were watching. We watched Angel Reese with LSU, right, a big market in the SEC, and we watched Caitlin Clark with Iowa.
Right.
And Iowa is not a big market at all. Their sports teams from the Big Ten to now have always been, you know, mid-pack to maybe upper level sometimes. But we watched two completely different markets in women's basketball clash.
That's
and
right.
instead of just clashing and fighting, it's almost like it brought each other up at the same
absolutely.
time.
Well, that kind of rivalry, again, is always going to draw people to the sport. And the fact that they were both drafted together and then had to face off each other in the WNBA season and were running, against each other for MVP. I mean, it was just such a fantastic storyline for the whole league, and I think it couldn't have come at a better time. I'm sure the veteran players wish it would have come at an earlier time, but I think we saw in that class, especially the two players that you mentioned, a different league of players, just in a different class that I think has elevated women's basketball altogether.
And, Sabrina Anoscu and Kelsey Plum do probably wish that this could have happened sooner. I mean, we got to remember there was a time in women's basketball when UConn was leading the way, and you had Maya Moore coming out of college, and Maya Moore absolutely dominated. Everybody knows the name Maya Moore when it comes to women's basketball, but now it seems like every single person on the planet, if you name women's basketball, they're going to name Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese. And
that's right.
It's great to see, too, because not only are they two different marketed players, they have two different playing styles.
Absolutely.
So it's not like they're the same position, and you look at it and say, oh, well, they just play one position. Angel Reese is a forward/center who plays under the basket. Caitlin Clark, an excellent outside shooter who can also pass it day and night. So it's great to see the diversity in the position also grow in the WNBA. And again, time and time again, what the WNBA and women's basketball has been missing, it seems like, you mentioned it, story.
Yeah.
And we had two great storylines in those two. And again, the same thing can be said here. A lot of great storylines here in this contest. We don't know where these players come from, but everybody's here. Everybody's here at the same time with an opportunity to make a name for themselves. And, making a name for themselves early here, I got to mention Madison Richard was a big one. And on the other side, too, Zion Stevens was a name I mentioned a lot, as we have a 22-11 advantage. The clock says 50 minutes. I don't think that's right, though. I'm pretty sure we need a 5-minute break. 50 minutes would be pretty long, though.
I wouldn't be opposed to it.
Yeah, I don't think anybody
break.
would, right? just some time to breathe. But no, I want to, again, thank everybody for joining us. This is the Florida Athletics Network, run by the man himself, Jonathan Torres, my co-host. This is the Conrad P. Foss Memorial Tournament, the second year that the tournament has been run on the broadcast by the Florida Athletics Network here at the Wiregrass Sports Ranch out here in Wesley Chapel, Florida. A lot to be said, but also just a lot of basketball to be played. I know we got a lot more games too, right?
Absolutely, and I'll tell you, one of the reasons that I started Florida Athletics Network is because I wanted to bring more visibility to youth sports. I wanted to bring more visibility to high school programs, middle school programs, youth programs. And if you go through our YouTube channel, you're going to find all those levels of sports being played, because to these kids, YouTube's everything.
Yeah.
I mean, to them, they might as well be ABC, NBC, ESPN, like you name it. If they're on YouTube, that's like next level for them. And so not only did I know the impact it would have on them and their confidence seeing themselves, on a global platform, but also, especially once you get into the high school level, those players, no matter what school your kid goes to, needs visibility. Those players need to be seen, by the global marketplace, by coaches, by team owners, by team coaches, at the professional level. And if we don't create these platforms for them to be seen and for them to be visible, they're not going to get that opportunity to continue their sports career past high school.
And I think it becomes legitimate to, anybody can film something in their backyard or at their own local gym, but I think it becomes legitimate, too, to see this film happening when it happens at a place like this where you're having talent come from all kinds of southern states. We saw the Georgia Vipers. They were a good instance and a good example, a team outside of Florida coming in. And it's a team that not a lot of these people are going to see too often.
Right.
But again, it was a different type of basketball at the beginning that we saw Southwest Florida have a hard time adjusting to. The physicality, the speed, they didn't know that's what was coming. But because they were able to adapt to it, they were able to use that to their advantage. Probably film that they've watched in the past from either that team or a similar team. And they adapted well, applying a lot of pressure and also getting a lot of turnovers. And the same can be said here, too. We don't know that a lot of these younger females are watching film, but at the same time, their coaches are. Yeah. And their coaches are going to continue to see at this kind of level not necessarily how can we play well against this team full on, but how can we develop your game? You're young, you're still learning basic skills.
And to your point, and this is for the parents out there, or even for the kids that may be watching, the one thing that I hear coaches say most often these days is kids are not watching the sport at the professional level, and they're not playing the sport in their neighborhoods. You know what I mean? Especially basketball. Basketball is a neighborhood sport. You went out there to the court and you found a couple other guys and you played 3-on-3 or 2-on-2, whatever the makeup was. But those types of games gave you that grit. It gave you that aggressiveness. And it challenged you in ways that this tournament does, because it exposes you to different types of play and different types of players. It creates adversity because maybe you're playing against somebody that's bigger or taller than you or faster than you. And that's what's exceptional about these tournaments. But you need to supplement that with other environments. Watching the pros do it and playing in other environments that you're not maybe necessarily comfortable with.
And see, this is a perfect age too. I mean, we were all there at one point. We all said we were going to be a professional athlete or something like that, at some point during our time as a youth. And I know,
that's right.
Watching it now, being able to watch the pros, I think it's not even watching how they play. I think it's the preparation in which they're preparing to, right? It's what they're doing pregame, whether it's warm-ups, whether it's the week of. LeBron James, as we all know, is a perfect example. It's been noted he spends about $2 million a year on his body. Not everybody can do that.
Yeah.
But if you have that capability and you have that option to, it's what he does. He does a lot of treatments on his body.
Yeah.
He does a lot of training outside of the U.S. with different players with different playing styles because he needs his mind to be ready for anything.
Yeah.
As you mentioned in our second game, the world is evolving to outside shooting, but now we're starting to see the youth trend of coaches are teaching their kids to finish in the paint and find more opportunities in the paint.
And it's a cycle, like everything. You know what I mean? Back in the Dr. J days, you had the hook shot, right? And then everybody started doing the hook shot, and then MJ came around, right? MJ, great three-point shooter as well, but he brought the dunk. He made the dunk what it is today. He made the dunk a spectacle, right? Because he was Air Jordan. And so, every sport's going to go through its cycles where it's going to highlight it's going to highlight people, that, again, excel in certain abilities. And I think that's also healthy for the game, because it has shown kids and collegiate players how important the shooting game is.
It is, too. And one thing, we mentioned defense so often in that second game. I think one thing I was worried about with the evolution of the game is kids were going to get a little bit lazy and continue to forego defensive efforts. But from what it seems like, I believe a lot of these coaches are still teaching their kids the fundamentals of defense, which gives me hope. Because, again, basketball is a two-way game. There are two-way players in the NBA and in college basketball for a reason. And it's nice to see that defense is not exactly dying, as we saw in game number 2.
That's right.
So now, folks, again, it was a 22-11 advantage coming out for the Florida Blaze. And looks like we had a couple opportunities of an offensive rebound, so the Blaze are going to maintain possession. And now a chance maybe, just maybe, for the Rising Stars to make a stop here. We saw a couple good defensive opportunities. The Stars, though, just could not capitalize when it came to shot making. But a name we called early in the first half, Zion Stevens, she's coming back down. And it looked like she got some pressure, I believe, from Madison Richard.
But she's got great power in that shot, man. If she can just get it under control and get it in the right direction, I mean, she's going to be unstoppable with that shot.
And again, those are the things you're going to watch for on film. When you see her drive, you're going to watch for the way she plants her feet, the way she, twists her body to get in position for that shot. She's doing well at such a young age for that. That's going to be easy adjustments as these kids continue watching film. It's a great thing to see, especially at this young of an age. As that ball goes out of bounds, it looked like might have been off of Grant. So Daryl Grant with the turnover, and now looks like Schmitzer will bring it up the court here for the Rising Stars. Switcher working up top here with Tamari Wilson. Layla Williams going up. Cannot finish. The offensive rebound once again is off the mark by Madison Richard. Stevens back the other way. A 1-on-2 slips to the ground. And we have a couple bodies on the ground, folks. And we will have a foul call here, so it looks like the Blaze will be issued. Trying to get a number discrepancy here. It'll be on number 7, so yeah, it'll be number 7. And it looks to be Amaya Curtis getting her first foul in the first foul of the half. Rising Stars getting on the board. They cut the lead now to single digits. It's a 22-13 advantage for the Blaze. Grant working down into the paint and falling to the ground was Arian Goggins.
Well, the good thing there is the Rising Stars created a lot of traffic down in the paint, and so that obviously slowed them down. And again, creates opportunities for them to be able to capitalize on.
And the Rising Stars doing a nice job applying that pressure because, Jonathan, similar to the Southwest Florida squad, this Blaze squad has a height advantage in certain areas. So they're able to use that, but some very early physical pressure coming here in this half. The Rising Stars not giving up, and neither are the Blaze. And I think we got a backcourt violation coming on Layla Williams.
Not only that, there seems to be some confusion over here on the bench between, the coaches and the players. Almost saw one young lady get off the court in the middle of the game. So they definitely need this timeout to kind of regroup and figure out what's going on.
I think one thing to take note here, too, people watching on YouTube and watching the live stream wouldn't realize this. You come to an area like this that is the Wiregrass Ranch Sports Campus, and there's multiple courts being played on at once. And so a lot of these younger kids, I think, are hearing the whistles from the other courts, and I've noticed when they have the ball, they hear a whistle and they almost stop for a second because they're not even sure which whistle is happening. So I think that's where the confusion might be happening as well. Again, it's all at a young age. It's how we learn. I remember my freshman year, I did the same thing, and honestly, playing at a place like this and hearing a whistle from other courts, it'll confuse you sometimes.
Oh, absolutely.
It'll make you want to stop for a second and say, wait. But then you hear the whistle right next to you, and you're like, okay, that's the real one.
I mean, even playing soccer, which is a much more expansive field of play, if there's another game going on at these tournaments where you have multiple fields, I mean, again, you can't always distinguish the whistle that's meant for you.
Here we go. Wilson had a floater but got fouled before she did, and it was on number 7. So the second foul of the half coming for Amaya Curtis. Second team foul and second foul overall on Curtis. And again, folks, a 22-13 advantage, but the Rising Stars are not quieting down just yet. They had a bucket moments ago, and now they have a chance to cut in and make it an 8-point lead with a lead that was 12 at one point in this contest. 12:04 remains here in half number 1. Quick substitution work. Amaya Curtis going to step off, and it looks like number 4 in Tabitha Anderson going to check it back in for the Florida Blaze. So it'll be Anderson, Richard, Grant, Williams, and it looks like it'll be Goggins as well on the floor for the Blaze. Goggins working inside. She has been a menace on the boards, folks. As it looks like we just had a little jump ball opportunity, so it'll remain with the Blaze, and Richard will come with the pass in. Grant with the height advantage. And a powerful shot, but a foul to follow, and that foul will go on Addison Shell.
Well, we were talking about earlier about the opportunities that a tournament like this creates. And again, for someone like that young lady, Grant, number 10, at her height, she's not even in high school yet. And, there's got to be people that are already looking at her, not only for high schools, and I'm sure there's high school recruitment going on, but even at the collegiate level, she's going to be up in the 6 foot, 7 foot range.
And I think what's nice, too, is, from a recruiting aspect, if you're a high school looking at potential players, you're going to do anything but notice Grant because she's the tallest player on the floor. And she's shown some physical capabilities, not just with the height, but with the skill set as well. She moves around in the paint well, follows the ball, and is there once again to box out and close out. But it's not needed, folks. Another basket coming, and this time it was Arian Goggins. So again, an opportunity to maybe get your name out there and show people what kind of game you have when it comes to the play of basketball as we have some physical contact coming, and I believe we will have a foul coming on Tabitha Anderson, the third team foul of the half.
But it's important to remind, again, not the kids and parents that at this age, just let them play. Let them worry about just playing, having a good time, enjoying the game, learning the game. If the parents want to deal with all this other, where they're going to go to high school, where they're going to go to college stuff, let the parents deal with that. The kids don't need to be worried about that stuff, especially at this age.
And I think what people have to remember, too, is for it to be a passion, I think you need to fall in love with it.
Yeah.
And falling in love, you fall in love with it, that's when you become passionate. It's when you become determined to make it happen. But I think for these kids, as you mentioned, learning to like it, learning the game, and just learning to love it and love the process of it. And if they don't, then it's not going to be for them in the first place.
Ooh, 21 there from Rising Stars, taking a hard hit after that rebound she caught.
Yeah, it's Bentley Schmitzer. She's been taking some contact all day long. 27-13 again, folks, is your score. Despite that, the Florida Blaze still trying to find some insurance because this team is not going anywhere. But, folks, showing up again, she closed out her half strong. It's Layla Williams. 16-point advantage, the largest lead of the half and the game with 10 minutes remaining here in game number 3. Wasting no time. Williams goes up again, just short. And there's Schmitzer off the ground and running with the ball. See number 27 in J.C. Clark. She just checked in moments ago. She's back on the floor. That shot from Stevens, no good. A rebound from Shell, maybe. Gets it, puts it up, off the mark, and Grant just lets it fall.
Her teammates need to get in there and help her with that rebound. There was nobody there trying to help her get out of that situation.
A little bit of help might suffice, and a little bit of help is what Zion Stevens needs. She'll get it out. And Micaiah Thomas going to have it. Maybe Williams fighting. They'll finally get it up court. Oh, my goodness. Surrounded was Thomas, and I think it might have gone off her hand. So despite not playing, I know we always take mental notes. That's like another thing that, is another opportunity to continue to learn, not just the love of the game, but I think the feel for it as well. Eventually when they get older, they'll start to feel, oh, I need to be under the basket, or I need to be in this position. And that's another thing I think that kind of misses at this age range, but it's an opportunity again for them to learn and feel it out and know where to be naturally. I feel like that comes with age at least.
Yeah, absolutely, and especially with a game like basketball, again, we see, even at this age, various levels of their ability to dribble, and their ability to run and dribble. I mean, it's not easy to do. I mean, obviously, we kind of forget, right, how hard those mechanics are because, you do it for so long. But at this age, they're just getting into the sport. For some of these girls, I'm sure it's probably only maybe their first year or two ever playing, and so to learn those mechanics of not only how to dribble a ball, which is not easy, but dribble a ball and run down the court and defend yourself at the same time. I mean, again, not easy to do, and it's good to see that, they're taking the time to learn that stuff, but also still play aggressively.
And it attests a lot to these coaches, too. For the Rising Stars, Tyrell Wilson, and for the Florida Blaze, Michael McFall. I think it's huge to be able to articulate that to these kids, but it seems like they've done that well. Because, these kids seem like they know what organized basketball is. They know where to be and what to do. It's just developing mechanics and developing play style and skill, and we've seen them do that, and it's a lot of testament to these coaches. They've done a great job and put them in a great position. And that's why we're seeing these kids be successful out here for such a young age.
Well, at this age is where they start strategizing, right? You start to be able to implement strategy and gameplay, whereas before it's just chasing the ball back and forth.
So Ava LaBianco will pick up that foul, second consecutive for her. That is number 20, Ava LaBianco, who checked in about a minute ago. 8:20 remains here in the half. Going back to the line, it looks like it'll be number 13 in Tamari Wilson coming for the Rising Stars. Lead is still 16. And again, 5 team fouls now on that Florida Blaze squad. Just 1 foul. Our marker here on this Rising Stars team. Highest lead of the game has been 16, so a chance to maybe cut into that as we are waiting the second opportunity now for Tamari Wilson. Again, game number 3 right here in the Wiregrass Ranch Sports Campus. Game number 4 set to follow about 5 minutes after this one. We are rolling with games, folks. So if this isn't the game you want to tune into, be sure to wait about 5 minutes for the stream reset. And I know, Jonathan, we got plenty of action later on today, right? And tomorrow as well.
Yeah, we'll probably be going here till about 8 o'clock tonight. And then we'll be back at it again tomorrow with just about the same number of games.
Plenty of middle and high school basketball action happening. Another rebound coming from Stevens. Has an outlet, a 2-on-2 here. 3-on-2, make it. And a steal coming from J.C. Clark. How about it? J.C. Clark, folks, with the behind-the-back pass. And somehow got it away to LaBianco. LaBianco gets it to Anderson. Anderson driving. Here we go. McFall puts it up and just over the rim.
Great effort there. Great way to get out of that trouble, you know, on the floor over here. I don't know how she was able to get it to her teammate, and they took it down the court really well, passed the ball. Didn't work out for them scoreboard-wise, but still great gameplay.
Again, it's that problem-solving aspect that we learn at such a young age, whether it's in academics or athletics. And McFall gets one to fall, folks. Oh, my goodness. Addison McFall taking a shot to the floor, but not before the basket goes in, folks, and makes that lead 18 points. Boy, impressive stuff. Jonathan, you talked about it, an impressive effort just to get out of that double team. Yep. But how about Abby McFall, even at such a young age, and one opportunity? So impressive.
Well, and that's what sports teaches you, right? It teaches you tenacity, teaches you determination, grit. I mean, where else are you going to learn those kind of skills, unless you put yourself in that environment?
It's hard to outside of a sports or working environment. I mean, these kids are 8 years old. They're not really going to come in contact with that. So, yeah, this is the place to do it. And it's funny. I think of the sports to learn it, in my opinion, it seems like soccer and basketball are those sports just because of how physical they can get at all times. I know we have football, and football is that way, but it seems like there's more of a pause sometimes in football, whereas soccer and basketball, you're just constantly running and going at each other, and you have to kind of adapt on the fly as we go. As that shot from Anderson is off the mark. Anderson just off the side iron. And we might have another foul. As after getting that and one opportunity, Addison McFall will get the foul. It's her second of the day.
Well, because, like you mentioned, in those sports, like basketball, soccer, you're playing both sides of the ball. You know what I mean? You don't get to choose what position you play, or when you play offense or when you play defense. At any given moment, the tide turns, and now you're playing defense. Next minute, you're playing offense. And, that type of quick thinking, is, again, also crucial part of the development in learning these sports.
And unless your name is Travis Hunter and you're going into the NFL draft, you're not going to play both sides of the ball too often. So
that's right.
For football players, they get a break. For basketball players, they're lucky if they get to breathe every second when it comes to being on the court. So now we have a free throw opportunity. That last foul picked up by number 22, once again, of Addison McFall. It's her third of the half and her third in this contest. 7th team foul as well. So the Florida Blaze, despite being up, folks, gonna possibly enter some foul trouble. Again, we've reached the limit now where every single foul from here on out for the Rising Stars is going to result in a 1-and-1 and eventually end up with 2 guaranteed free throws. Trying to answer on the other end is the Blaze, and unfortunately they are unable to, as we have another foul coming from the Florida Blaze, a newly checked-in player in Skylar Walker. She'll check in, she'll grab a foul. It's the 8th team foul. And we will go right back to the line, folks. As I mentioned, this might be a recurring opportunity coming for the Rising Stars.
Well, there's no need for this. So, from the Blaze, they have a substantial lead. They need to focus on the fundamentals, play a clean game, and protect their lead.
And this is that opportunity, Jonathan, to learn, to understand what kind of position you're in. And I think for the Blaze, they're not necessarily stepping back and seeing that. All they're seeing is, if they're trying to score, we need to stop them, and we need to do whatever it takes to stop them. But I can say we kind of saw that in the last game. The Hoop squad did not stop whatsoever when it came to applying pressure.
Incredibly physical team.
They were incredibly physical and very controlled as well in that second half. Zion Stevens trying to control a basket up top, unable to. The rebound coming down, and it will stay with the Blaze. It looked like Tiana Gordon was able to corral that one in, and no, it will go the other way. It stays with the Rising Stars. 6:05 remains here with an 18-point advantage by the Blaze. A recent check-in coming up top is Michaela Carter. She checks in, and that shot from Shell's off the mark. It's Goggins with the board. A 2-on-1 here. Coming the other way with McFall. She's working with what looked to be LaBianco. And McFall going to watch that one travel right away and back to the Rising Stars. It's the finish line, folks, here for this women's basketball contest. 18-point advantage. I still say it's anyone's game, though, because as we've seen, quick runs can be managed here. And I got to say, despite an 18-point advantage, the Rising Stars have shown a lot of improvement here in the second half and seem to be putting more together. So now, as we've talked about with development and learning, this is an opportunity to start putting some possessions together and maybe trying to cut into the deficit and have some plays to look at on film. Stevens back the other way, just missing Carter. Maybe needed about an inch or two there more, and she could have had a basket.
Yeah, just out of reach that pass. But what we're seeing is Rising Stars starting to realize their advantage here is going to be agility. Their advantage is going to be speed. The taller girls obviously have the shooting advantage once, they're down in the paint. But if they can beat them down to the other end of the court, they're going to create more opportunities.
And an opportunity was created there. A nice pass coming from Tiana Gordon. And Ava LaBianco, folks, off the back iron and into the basket. The largest lead of the game is now 21. Carter trying to answer.
Almost, yeah.
Nearly answered.
Great shot.
The rebound in by Gordon. Coming back the other way is Goggins and LaBianco. Will she make it a two-piece? Going up and trying to get the shot off is unable to is Skylar Walker. Walker working, Shell grabbing, and Shell will end up getting the board. Back the other way we go. Taken away, given back to Shell. Carter goes up. Too strong. Goggins, watch that one bounce off her face. And again, folks, it's an offensive rebound after offensive rebound. Shell grabs it. Somebody's got to make one, right? Oh, my goodness, Skylar Walker nearly put it in the other basket.
Well, there seemed to be some miscommunication there with the Blaze, because even after getting that rebound, they couldn't seem to figure out how to get out of that situation.
Not at all. And again, folks, the interesting note here is you have Walker, Goggins, and now Grant, who have such a substantial height difference. And despite that, we saw 6 offensive boards on that possession from the Rising Stars. A steal potentially, and it will be taken away there. Zion Stevens grabs it, takes it down, and it's not before a foul coming on the other end. It's going to be McFall. So that'll be the 9th team foul there on the Blaze. Again, not playing into their efforts of a 21-point advantage, but still something to keep an eye on here with 3 minutes remaining. As we mentioned, free throws would be a mainstay in this game, and number 20 in Zion Stevens, who made a couple in the first half, will revisit the free throw line. So the final 3 minutes of regulation here, folks, they're going to go ahead and do a running clock. So that's how we will finish things out here for the next couple of minutes. Again, young players, young game, and a big opportunity here to get some key minutes, especially in your development. That was a 1-and-1. Again, something for them to continue to learn, and Zion Stevens will get another chance to add to the total. Second opportunity as we got a free throw lane violation. And that's one thing for your younger viewers watching to take note of there. Zion Stevens shot the free throw, but went out of the line as soon as the shot went off, and you have to wait until the ball touches the rim.
For those of you watching March Madness, that's what cost Connecticut the game last night.
Oh, yeah. Got to give a shout out to Duke, too. Without Cooper Flagg, they still pulled off the win against North Carolina. That was a great game. As we have some defensive pressure coming, Zion Stevens saw it fall out of bounds. And just like the second game, Jonathan, it looks like they're calling game.
Huh.
So, folks, that will be the end of it. It was a 35-15 win for the Florida Blaze. A big shout out to head coach Michael McFall. What seemed to be his daughter Addison McFall with a valiant effort on the offensive side. Madison Richard was the standout. And again, on the other side, saw a lot of good things from Zion Stevens, Michaela Carter, and ultimately Tamari Wilson. Once again, folks, this has been Game 3. We are set to take off with Game 4 in about 10 minutes' time. And I believe it'll be men's basketball high school once again. So a big showdown coming. We're going to stop this stream and move on to the next one.
Well, and I just want to say, big kudos to both teams. These young ladies played incredibly hard. Obviously, again, at this age, they take it very hard. Every loss is a very big deal to them. But again, they came here, they put in a ton of effort, played a great game against a very good team. And they have nothing to be embarrassed about or ashamed about. It was a great game, and they're going to continue to do great things.
Not at all. Once again, thank you guys so much for joining us. Again, this is the Florida Athletics Network. Be sure to tune in about 10 minutes' time and come back to the newly revised stream once again here at the Wiregrass Sports Ranch out in Wesley Chapel. We'll see you later, folks.